In the second part of tonight's class, we shared what did we gain from our personal, on the spot, in this class, reflections on soul searching. First, you have to pick an area, and then you have to think those three things. Anyone have something they'd come to some realization they'd like to share? Sometimes it's hard to share, but anyone who felt that they actually could in some way feel this, that they got those three levels of where they'd like to be, where they must be, and where they are?
I can say that I have yeah, thank you. That I have this all the time, those thoughts, that it's hard sometimes. I know I want to have Shabbat always, but my dad got so sick now that he's in the hospital, serious surgery tomorrow. My mom has dementia, and I got new granddaughter, and everybody needs help. So, and I did not have Shabbat at all. I was driving, so it was not good. So a lot of the time, even it's hard. I always think that way, I didn't do this, didn't do that, and trying to do my best. But it's not just this time, it's always for me.
Well, honestly, it's very good to be aware. In a sense, the stereotype of a Jew is someone that has a guilty conscience, and it's a true and not bad stereotype. I say I have a very guilty conscience. It keeps me very close to God, because if I don't do what I think God wants, I feel bad, and I think about it, and I think what I should have done differently, and I think how I'm going to do it in the future differently. So the fact that you're caring and therefore saying, I want to do Shabbat, I wasn't able to do Shabbat, it bothers me I didn't do Shabbat, that's great. It's much better than saying, whatever, didn't make a difference, didn't happen, whatever. No, you're saying, at least it bothers you. I'm saying bothering you is a good first step, because from bothering you, then of course you go to the next step of saying, okay, so, and according to this sort of plan we're thinking of, maybe the Shabbat as I want to do it right now, I'm not capable of doing, because I'm being pulled in these three directions between my dad's surgery, my mom's dementia, my thank God new grandchild, everyone wants a piece of me. So my vision of Shabbat I'm not doing, but at least that's going from the vision to the at least what can I strive for that I know I'm doing something. And I strive to create a few hours. Maybe it's going to be Friday night, maybe it's going to be Shabbat Saturday morning, and I'm going to say, until this time, I'm not looking at my phone, I'm not getting in the car. God, I'm honoring your holy day of rest. And if afterwards I have to, obviously I don't want to, and obviously I know you don't want me to, but at least I know I gave you that time. I honored you. I didn't turn on my phone and check who was calling me and who needed me. And I didn't go in the car and drive anywhere for whatever time I could, for the morning hours, for Friday nights, something. Is that my vision? Maybe it's not what you really want, but at least it's a stepping stone, and it's a very big commitment to say, God, I'm really trying. And God willing, I'll be able to do more. But at least now I know I'm walking toward you. And I know a lot of times people feel like difference doesn't make if I'm going to be cell phone free for 3 hours or driving free for 3 hours, if the rest of the day I'm going to be doing these things. Because every time we're making a choice, a conscious choice to serve God, that time is precious. That time is valuable. That time is eternal. It doesn't take away the other time, but it doesn't also take away these times. These moments are precious to God. These moments are your moments of really putting him first, of really sacrificing for him. And he appreciates it, and he treasures it. And we always have to keep that in mind for everything we do. In whatever area, Menucha was saying she was so happy she taped the lights. Maybe there are other areas of Shabbat she didn't keep properly. So that'll be the next adventure. That'll be the next goal. But God appreciates that the lights in her house stayed on or stayed off for 25 hours. And that's beautiful. And God doesn't look and say, it's sort of like Lubavitcher Rebbe says that when Mashiach comes, when we have the complete redemption, God will go to every single Jew, every man, every woman, every child, and he will thank each of us for what we did to bring the redemption. Each of us. That doesn't mean that God doesn't know that we could have done a lot more. God doesn't work that way. He's not looking at us and saying, why didn't you? You know, we could be like that. Oh, you bought me a gift. That's so nice, but it's not my color. And it's not, I wanted one bigger and I wanted one fancier. God's not like that. God's like, you got me a gift. Thank you for what you did to bring redemption. Not, but you could have, you should have, I expected. God says, thank you for what you did. You were part of the process. In your merit, you were part of the myriads that brought redemption. Thank you. And that's the message God's going to give each one of us. He's not going to look at us and say, and why didn't you do more? And it could have happened faster. He's going to say, thank you, thank you, thank you for what you did. That's God's perspective. So when we understand that, we understand that every gift we give him, every time we put him first, is so precious to him, which of course motivates us to put him first more often. But at the same time makes us realize that we shouldn't feel, if I can't give him the whole cake, I shouldn't give him anything. God says, whatever you can give me, I appreciate. Whatever you can give me is special. And if it's really hard for you to give it because you're being pulled in so many different directions or for whatever other reason, it's even more precious. It says, according to the effort is the reward, which means that when something is difficult for us, it's even more appreciated by God. So you could say, hey, that's not fair. This is easy to me. God doesn't appreciate it as much. It's not that he doesn't appreciate it. But if it's hard for you, he knows that. And he knows the effort that goes into it. And he really treasures that effort. He treasures that you're working so hard for him. It's very valuable, just like us with our children. You know, when Rivka gave the example of her son with the mashed potatoes. So you could think, oh, my daughter makes me supper every night. Well, that's great. That's wonderful. That's amazing. But if your child doesn't, and then does once, completely out of character, completely expressing, Ma, you're sick, I guess I really love you and want to help you, it's even more sweet because we know it's hard. It's out of the box. It's out of the norm, and it's very precious. Anyone else have something that they were processing when we were doing this?
Yes, I need to improve on each aspect that you mentioned, of course. But I'm trying to work on praying before and after meals, not occasionally when I remember, but every time. And I don't remember every time.
When you say praying, do you mean saying the blessing?
Before meals.
Do you mean the blessings?
Yeah. Blessing before meals and after meals. And that's number one. Number two, I have the whole list. When I pray in the morning,
everything you needed to hear. That's beautiful.
Yeah. In the morning when I pray, since I added more prayers in Elul, I try to finish it fast. If I don't have time, I have to go to work. So my concentration level when I'm praying in the morning, to improve Shabbat, definitely working on that. So it's just for the beginning.
Let's focus on the blessings. What you could do, where do you have are you like me and you eat everywhere, or do you have a place where you normally eat, at least when you're in your house?
Kitchen.
Could you put a big poster or sign somewhere with the blessings or with a reminder, some cute visual that will catch your eye for at least 3 days?
I should.
So a sticky note on your fridge. Don't open it. Stop.
I always remember blessing on the water. First thing I do in the morning, I drink water. So I always say the blessing on the water. But then before breakfast, sometimes I forget.
Anyone have any good tips how they remember?
I have it on my fridge.
You have it on your fridge.
It's already, I looked at it. I have to make another copy because it's wore out. and I have
Is
both.
it a sign to remind you, or is it a list of the blessings? What do you have on your fridge, Rivka?
I have blessings before I eat and blessings after I eat. And
Oh,
they're
it's like a
both.
chart, and you have it on your fridge. So
Have it in
before
my
you
fridge.
open, you might notice.
Yeah, but also sometimes my husband says, "What, Bore pre?" And he goes and he looks at it. You know, it's supposed to help us even to remember. And also after the meal, if those short blessings after the meal, I do remember Brucha before I eat in Hebrew. I memorize them, but after I still say it in English. And in English, I don't know. I didn't memorize it in English. I still hoping to learn it in Hebrew. So I have to read those after the meal.
But what you do to remember to say them is you have it on your fridge.
Yes, I always have it on my fridge.
Okay, that's a good
I
memory.
have another right after I come of the bathroom. I also have the appropriate one right out the door.
That's
Also.
great. That's the bang. You see
I
it.
do.
You say
Right.
the blessing. Anyone else have anything else they do to remember? How do they remember to say blessings?